Welcome to Magic in the Muck, a soul's compass for change. I'm your host, Jennifer Nagel, and today we are honored to have Diana Stevens, PhD in holistic coaching and founder of Mindful Job Alignment. Diana helps people navigate career changes and life transitions with mindfulness, emotional balance, and clarity. So, Diana, welcome. I think your work is so vital right now in times of change and chaos. And let's just start with your talk title, Mindfulness for Stress Relief. Um, how do you define mindfulness in the context of stress?
Mindfulness is really about calming down in the midst of the stress, having that mental exercise of just taking a few deep breaths and letting your mind clear and to just calm down, doing a body scan and just clearing where you're at. That's something you can do quickly in about 30 seconds to a minute. And just in the midst of all the chaos, just breathe,
Hmm.
stop for a minute. And it starts there, and then it morphs out into taking a long, hard look at your routines and seeing what you can edit out of your routines that aren't serving you, and places that you go, people that you're with, toxic situations that you may have at work or at home or in the community, about weeding those out and starting to make adjustments. But that all doesn't happen overnight. It's
Hmm.
a process, but the first thing that starts is the awareness that you need to slow down, the awareness that the balance is off. Usually, in most in employment situations that could potentially be a little bit off and unbalanced, you're going to notice it in the gut area with upset stomachs and GI
Right.
issues,
The
stress
body
issues,
says
headaches,
so much.
all
Yeah.
those things. It
Yeah.
starts manifesting itself physically. And a lot of times people don't realize it, they're unconscious to it, but that's really, if the situation is feeling heavy and making you feel heavy and making you feel upset and stressed, then it's toxic. It's starting to
Mhm,
become toxic
mhm.
and you need to do something about it. That
So,
becomes the awareness.
yeah, thank you for that, Diana. As we talk about mindfulness and stress, but I'm also curious about what's bringing joy for you.
What really brings joy for me is a variety of things. One is I love to do different inspirational reading, spiritual reading. I love to get insightful sentences from that reading because I believe that that just helps to simplify the thought process. That's one thing. The other thing is I love to listen to very calming music. And then I enjoy coloring, I enjoy arts and crafts.
Love that.
And then I
Yeah,
also
well,
like watching uplifting movies. So,
yeah, well, you said something really watching uplifting movies, because what does that do for you when you watch something uplifting? What happens
it
for
it
you?
just relaxes me, makes me feel happy, takes my
Hmm.
mind off whatever I might be thinking about, worrying about at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
for sure. So, for many people who are facing uncertainty in career transitions and life transitions, I mean, life can feel really overwhelming. How can mindfulness help create emotional balance in those turbulent moments?
well, the first thing to do is to slow down, find a place that you can go to do the breathing and calm the body down. And then the next thing is to take some time to have a piece of paper or journal or a notebook where you can just write down and do what I call a brain dump just onto a piece of paper of the thoughts, just as they come out, whether they be positive, negative, in between, but just what's on your mind. Get it out on paper and then start to organize that of what are you feeling, what are you thinking, and then how are you going to start working on eliminating things from your life that are not bringing you joy, that are cumbersome, that might even be expensive and not aligned with your financial goals. What have you allowed just to go on autopilot that you need to come back, be conscious of, and make a decision about consciously? Do you want it in your life or do you not want it in your life? Those two things. And then from there, you start building a structure and revamping morning routines, evening routines, taking a look at where you're at on a weekly basis relative to your time and your goals. It's a process.
Hear
It's
that.
not something that happens overnight. Sometimes you can't make all those changes all at once, but there are very simple things you can do about looking at how you do your day, how you've allocated your time, and then how you're going to put in those things that nurture you in
Was there
there.
was there anything about your own personal journey that led you as you're giving us a lovely kind of a checklist, but also a
Yep.
process, right? I'm curious about your personal journey that brought you to here.
Well, my personal journey really was one of more of a medical one with my mother. She had a 16-year odyssey with Alzheimer's. And it started in the year 2000 when she was diagnosed, and then she passed in 2016. And we are both only children, and my father was deceased already by that point. So it was a very slow process, but I did ultimately have to put her into a facility that neither one of us could afford. So it put us through some financial difficulties. And at that same time, what led me to what I'm now doing is the fact that I was downsized 5 times in 10 years from either companies going out of business or companies
Hmm.
closing divisions, positions being eliminated. And I went through outplacement multiple times, and I found that there was not the support there regarding the emotional side of job search and what I was feeling, which of course was exacerbated by my family situation. So there were some challenges there. And as I went through that, I started going on this quest for peace and solace and how I could manage through this without it taking over and really being a detriment to
Um,
my health. So I started studying Reiki and some of the Eastern traditions. I also was singing professionally in a church, so I had the mainstream spirituality going as well, and then worked with a lot of different groups throughout my job search and met new people and was in new communities where there was more support. But I still realized that there was a void for it. So in 2019, I went back to school and I started working on my PhD in holistic coaching. I found a place where I could do holistic spiritual coaching with more of the metaphysical Eastern philosophies in holistic and in functional type health. I wrote a dissertation on a mindful approach to job search, and I founded my company as an outgrowth of my dissertation.
wow.
And
Mindful
so I'm
approach to job
overlaying
search.
these spiritual techniques with the practical side of job search. And what I believe is it's really like a three-pronged stool. You have your body, mind, spirit side of job search
Mhm.
for keeping mentally balanced and keeping the emotional equilibrium while you're being rejected over and over again, or you can't find the job or it's not
Right.
going well. And then there's the other piece about the tactical side, which is the resumes, the networking, LinkedIn, all of those technical
Hmm.
that we see all the time, that we hear about. And then the third part, of course, is the part you can't control. So it's how to cope with the part you can't
Right.
control, the ghosting, the third party that's going to make the decision about
Right.
you. But the other thing that I work with as well on it is the fact that I think everybody should be on this journey as a journey, because you're going to meet new
Yes.
people, you're going to have new opportunities, and in some cases, if the doors keep closing in your face, which happened to me, you have to realize that you're being led in a different direction.
I love that you're bringing a
Yep,
mindfulness approach to job
yep.
searching. I mean, and the whole holistic approach
It's
really
necessary. People don't
necessary.
always realize it. I think most people, honestly, I don't know. From what I see with most of this, is that people don't go on these journeys until there's a catastrophe.
Right. That
There's
muck,
some type
right?
of a
Going
life
through.
quake, a life
Mhm.
transition that goes on that forces them to think. And unfortunately, most of those are usually not positive. They're usually negative issues that happen. And so that's what causes it. It can
Yeah.
happen over time where people just realize they're not happy, and it could be a variety of subject matters,
When it's
but
looking at the big picture, they
it's looking at the
experience it
big
as
picture.
negative, and yet it could be the best. I mean, it could be horrible that they're what they go through, and yet it sparks a new
Correct.
pathway. It sparks that soul searching, and
Yes.
yeah. So it could be a gift, that magic in the muck.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
that I'll tell you, I've been in the muck, and it just didn't get, even when my mother passed, it wasn't alleviated because of the financial damage that was done.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's just been a challenge. And I just felt that other people would benefit
Yeah.
from knowing that there is light at the other side of the tunnel. And when these things don't work out, it's being done for a reason. And when you're in the middle of it, you don't. That was the solace I got, was knowing that when one door closes, another one opens. There's a reason for it, and you may not see that reason right then. The
Mm.
path is usually illuminated a little bit. If it was cobblestones, you could see the next cobblestone. You don't see a mile and a half down the road with a bright light. None of us do. Unless for some reason you have a psychic gift, no one knows where they're going to be a
Right.
week from now, a month from now, a year from now. But what you do is trust in the spiritual aspect of it, that it's for your highest and best good.
You emphasize, helping clients survey their skills and values to form a life vision. How important is reconnecting with those inner resources during times of upheaval?
It's very important because your value system and your moral system is your compass along with integrity. So the values are very, very important. When you're living outside of your values, it's going to come back. It's going to be like sandpaper on a blackboard,
Mhm.
and you just can't do that.
Exactly.
So a lot of people will look the other way for the money or for the opportunity or for the career opportunity. And if the whole thing is not lining up and they don't align with your values and the way you do your life, your moral compass, it's never going to work. It's about questioning that and figuring and going in eyes wide open very consciously to a new opportunity, and not just getting involved in something because either of the money or because you're desperate or out of fear. You've got to be doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah. And you said something really important, with eyes wide open and
Yes.
consciously. And a lot of us, we don't know what we don't know, or we don't know our blind spots. So, what is a simple mindfulness practice or mind shift that you would recommend for someone who's feeling stuck or paralyzed by stress?
First thing is to stop and take some deep breaths. Four of them. Start with four. In through the nose, out through the mouth. For the deep ones, where
Hmm.
you really are deep breathing from the diaphragm, and the act of that will calm you down because it brings more blood flow into the heart. It lowers the blood pressure and it gets you back on track with your deep breathing. Then the second thing is to be able to either remove yourself from the situation, like if one's in an office, just perhaps walk around or go to a different floor and walk around. Don't walk around where you see everybody every day, but on a different floor. Walk outside. If you can't do that, you can even go to the restroom and close the door of a stall and just breathe and be there for a minute and put your hand on the
So
wall or
find
the
another
door and
space,
just, yeah.
another space.
That's a very simple way in the
Mhm.
moment to just do it when you can't do other things. But in terms of being at home, some people really enjoy walking in nature to
Yes.
relax. Some people really enjoy cooking. Some people really enjoy reading. Some people really enjoy some form of exercise or yoga or something to relax and work out. Whatever those things are that you like to do, that's what you need to detach yourself from, maybe even turn off the computer and go and do the activity that you enjoy doing. There's ways to relax sitting after you've been breathing. You can start with the top of your head, work your way all the way down to your toes.
Oh,
Just
can we do that
focus
right
on,
now
sure,
for our listeners to just practice right now in the moment?
absolutely. So wherever you are, whether you're sitting in a chair or on the floor, just get comfortable, get your body comfortable for a minute. Then take a deep breath in through your nose, blow it out through your mouth. Another one, out through the mouth. Number three, and out through the mouth. And number four, and out through the mouth. And then sitting right where you are, start with the top of your head, relax your scalp, and move down to your head, the back of your head and your face. Relax your muscles in your face. Keep breathing. And then your neck, your shoulders. Relax your shoulders. There's probably tension in the shoulders. And then your arms all the way down to your fingertips. Relax your hands. Then your chest, your upper back, your stomach area, your pelvis, your hips, some tension in the hips, your lower back, your glutes and thighs, your knees, your calves, and then your ankles on down to your toes. So just sit there for a second or two. If thoughts come in to your head, to your brain, let them flitter away like clouds. Just be. Keep breathing in and out. And when you're ready, you can come back into the room. You can open your eyes. Just kind of adjust yourself in your chair. And that's how you can start.
Wonderful.
That's like a 1 minute, maybe 1 minute, 30-second meditation. So for people who don't think they can meditate, that's how you start.
That's why I wanted you to help our listeners with this. So we
Good.
can know.
I hope that helped.
Yes. So I'm wondering, how do you encourage people to bring joy back into their lives when they're navigating challenging transitions?
Really by thinking about what were those things that always have made them happy that they've enjoyed doing. It's usually a skill or hobby that they've let go. And it's usually either around, they used to really enjoy walking or running or some form of exercise or maybe some sport that they gave up. There's that area. And then, of course, we have our arts and crafts area for all the people who love to read, write, create things visually, draw, paint, make craft items, sew, all of that. There's that whole domain. And then there's also the idea of people who enjoyed making music and they haven't done that in many, many years. Things that you used to enjoy doing that you just gave up. Think about what you did as a child on a rainy day. I mean, I remember we were an arts and crafts household. So we were either making something or sewing or doing something with that. I'm not an artist, but I do like arts and crafts. I'll play with other things.
Wonderful.
I like the coloring books, quite frankly, the adult coloring books.
So doing what you love or doing what brings you joy and giving yourself permission to do the things that bring you joy, to make time and space for that. It's
permission
okay.
is the key word.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, Diana, thank you so much for bringing such compassionate guidance to this conversation. And for listeners who want to know more and to find more balance and clarity during their transitions, where can they learn more about your work?
They can go to mindfuljobalignment.com. I also am on LinkedIn, Diana C. Stevens, PhD. C is my middle initial for Carla. I'm on LinkedIn every single day, but my website also.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it. Nice meeting you.
You too. Thank you for being here with me on Magic in the Muck. If today stirred something in you and you're ready to walk this path more deeply, I invite you to join the Soul Compass Circle, a journey of reflection, connection, and soul-aligned living. You don't have to do this alone. Just visit the link in the show notes to step into the circle. I look forward to meeting you there.
I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we're honored to have Jennifer Nagel's show Magic in the Muck as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com and don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift fold. stay high vibe, and keep sharing your light.